Good morning. It is Monday, June 22nd, 2020. I'm Brittany Pacheco filling in for Taji Plantis, who is on vacation for the next couple of weeks. And we are excited to welcome you to this morning's edition of Up to the Minute. I am joined by two very special guests, but before we get to them, I just want to kindly remind everyone to take a little bit of time to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And also, to follow us on YouTube. We have thousands of videos at your disposal, all produced by our very own HCCTV, some of which have actually been produced by our very own guests. So once you subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be the first to find out the latest. And last but certainly not least, be sure to share this podcast so not only can we grow our audience, but we also want to be able to share this information to the masses. This morning, I am joined by Caio de Aragon, Cruz, and Carolina Linares, who are part-time editor and videographer for HCCTV and also HCC Digital Communications Specialist. Both are international students. Caio, you are from Brazil, and Carolina is from Colombia. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How's the weather for y'all this morning?
Oh, it's very bad over here.
Yeah, it's not good for a Monday.
Let's talk about feeling like a Monday and you have to do all this stuff Monday morning. But we're excited to have you both with us. Caio, I'm going to begin with you. Actually, you and Carolina have, and several other students of ours are working for HCC and have finally launched a new newscast called Student Lounge that was supposed to have started while we were all working from the office, but life has gotten in the way a little bit. So tell us about Student Lounge.
So it was a little challenge for us. We came up with the idea because we thought that we wanted to have something more like for the students. You know, we have a lot of shows and things like that, but we wanted something that was made by us, like for, like young people kind of style, like more informal, more flexible, trying to reach those students. And yes, the idea at first was to do it at the studio, with the cameras and maybe even like build a set made for the student lounge. But since everything happened because of coronavirus, we needed to learn how to even start the show, outside of the studio, which was a good experience. We've been having meetings, we've been trying to figure out a way of making it interesting, even though we don't have the studio. So I think it's been working pretty well, and I'm really excited to launch that, together with Carolina and the other students. I think they really enjoy it. Like you can see, we have fun while we're doing the show, and I think that's the most important thing.
Awesome. Carolina, there's some other students who are involved. What kind of sections have you all done for Student Lounge?
So the newscast is basically 4 sections. The first one is kind of news or topics of things that have happened during the week. So we kind of update people with events and some other general news. And then we have the lounge topic. So we decide a topic to discuss. So we have like a little debate between the students. And then it's the lounge expert. So we bring up guests, depending on the topic, we kind of relate it to it. And then we have like a conversation with the guest. And then at the end, we have a launch flicks. So we basically show some shows. We discussed about Netflix and other medias where we find interesting shows. And we also try to kind of relate that to the topic of the day or the week. And so it's basically those 4 sections. And all of the students have collaborated on it. So I'm the host and Caio is the co-host. And then we have our part-timers as well who are working with us in the sections.
It seems to be such an interesting project to work on, especially during COVID. So how often is this show produced? Caio?
Well, we're doing like once a week. We've been recording on Tuesdays and we're going to be posting on Thursdays. That's the goal for now. We may try to do more often, according to the amount of views. And we have some ideas once we're back on campus and things back to normal. We are trying to promote the show like by going to campus and trying to socialize with people if possible, of course, because I think that a lot of the students don't find HCC channel, or they're not really like sometimes not even social media. And I think that even though we're in 2020, there's a lot of people that don't use Facebook, don't use YouTube. So we want to tell them that we're there, that there's the HCC channel, that we have a lot of content so they can have access to it. And I think that's going to bring a lot of followers and people to actually enjoy the show.
Catalina, I want to ask you, because you offer 4 different sections, do you have a particular section that you really enjoy working on?
Well, I think the expert is very interesting because we find things that we actually don't know, even if we're discussing a specific topic. And entertainment, because the students are actually just like showing people and talking about the shows, and these are funny. And then we end with a meme. Like, it's like the meme of the week. So it's kind of funny, the ending of it. So pretty much entertainment is the one that I like the most. It's hosted by Caio, and at the end we have a meme, which is pretty funny.
So let's go a little bit more into the student staffers who participate in on the student lounge. Who actually does what? You, Carolina, and Caio co-host, but what about Francisco and Josh and everyone else who's involved? What are their beats, or what is it that they actually do?
Well, we have divided our team like if it was a real TV show. So we actually have our producer, which is our supervisor, Dr. Tony. And then the co-producer is Andres Vivas, who is a videographer and editor. So we have roles. So we all discuss the content to prepare for the next show. And myself, I have helped Francisco in the edition, so editing, and I created some of the graphics. So we have like some kind of lower thirds where we actually show the topic that we're talking and the guests that we have. And then we have like the different sections. So I have created all of those graphics. But we all discuss the topic to have it ready for the next week. So we all collaborate in so many different things.
That's fantastic. Caio, I want to ask you, is there a particular topic or episode that you all have recently done? I know there's only been 2 episodes of the Student Lounge, but what was one of the most enjoyable moments of the Student Lounge that you all have discussed?
Well, it's hard to say like a favorite moment, because I really enjoyed doing, and I like the debate because I think that's when it's time to everybody to jump in, kind of give their opinion. So I think it's usually more like informal. So I enjoyed that. But last show we had Israel Garza from HCC. He's the manager, the Ideas Maker. And I really enjoyed that one because we talked a lot about the space. Space was a topic of overall the show. So our news was about space, or entertainment was about films and series that are space related. So I really enjoyed that, and he brought some really good points, like what do they do at the Makerspace at the West Houston Institute. So he mentioned they have a VR lab when they do simulation. We talk about 3D printing and how that can help in space, because sometimes you cannot take some materials to space or like big things, but if you have the printer and material to print out, you can create objects in space, and that's pretty cool. So we had a really good conversation. I think all the students learned a lot from that. In addition to that, he mentioned that the West Houston Institute, they created a habitat, a Mars habitat mock-up. So they create like how Mars would look like, and they create like some, even a bathtub, which I thought was pretty cool, and I told him I would love to be in space, like in the bathtub, like looking at the universe. So
that sounds like an amazing topic. And I hopefully just by sharing what little bit you did just shared, we'll have some, we'll grow your audience for the Student Lounge and see how students can participate. And while we're on that topic, Carolina, I wanted to ask, how can other students participate in the Student Lounge? Can they submit ideas for the show, or how can they actually be on the show?
Yes, actually during the show, we ask students or any audience that we have watching the video that they can participate by commenting down the video, because this is in Facebook and YouTube. So during the show, we actually ask guests, because we need topics, and if it's more interesting for them, we can just pick that topic and actually have them as guests. So we highly encourage students to give comments, so we know that they're watching and what they would like to discuss with us.
Amazing. And Caio, you mentioned a little bit before about COVID and going back to our normal routine of how we produce our shows in the studio. What are the plans when we do return back to the studio for the Student Lounge?
So we actually want to build our own set, maybe at the podcast studio, so that way we can move the cameras around. And I'm really excited because, you know, I've hosted one time, I think it was up to the minute, I don't remember, but I really enjoy being on set. You know, I think gives us a different feeling. And I think the students are going to appreciate more because once he has this professional look, people really see that we are serious about. So I think that's definitely going to help when it comes to the views and to the engagement of people, you know, and I'm excited. I'm really excited for it.
That's great. So Caio, while we're on you, you're a very busy videographer for HCC. Tell us about what you're doing remotely before the Student Lounge.
So I was doing the remote report for HCC. So we tried to come up with ideas like kind of like the same way with the Student Lounge, like how can we help the students? How can you create content that's going to be interesting for them? So I made a few videos. One of them was about the grocery store. So how to do groceries safely in times of coronavirus. So I give some tips and, you know, how to keep it clean. And the other one was about meditation. And I really enjoyed doing that one because I didn't teach how to meditate. I just give the resources for it because I'm not like, you know, I cannot teach meditation because I'm not a professor. So I just give some tips and told them like the principles, like how to breathe and things that are simple. And I gave them a bunch of links, like where they can find like free apps, even on YouTube, we can find free videos, how to learn how to meditate. So I was just trying really to give the sources and try to incentivize people to meditate, especially in times of coronavirus. I think it's really helpful, you know, trying to keep your mind busy with other stuff.
Perfect. And I understand that you also helped create the animation for our safe learning options for the fall, entitled We're Here For You video. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I actually did two videos. So there's a safe learning options for the fall, which is the animation video. And it was really cool because it was my first time using the software and it was kind of challenging. But I learned like, you know, in a few hours, and I did the video probably like the whole day, but it was worth it. I really enjoyed the experience and I learned a lot. And one more thing for my portfolio, so that's definitely going to be useful in the future too when I want to show like a client or someone, hey, you know, I've done an animation for HCC. And the other ones, We're Here For You, the HCC video, that one I really, really like doing too because I think it's really emotional. And I think I found a perfect song for it. And the message is right there, you know. And of course, I need the help from, you know, the great voice for Nathan and the scripts too. My part is more to create what's already the idea, you know, but I'm not a big fan of writing scripts. But if you give me a script, I can do anything you want.
It's a great video, Caio, and I am so proud of you for all the hard work that you and as well as Carolina and everyone else within HCCTV put into your work. You can see the passion and all the hard work that comes through just in what you produce. It's the We're Here For You video talks about our safe learning options for fall 2020, and we have it linked down in our Facebook feed as well as our other social media platforms. It's a great video. You can also check it out on YouTube. Carolina, I'm going to come back to you real quick. During this time of COVID, you were actually off-site for a long period of time, but you were still working and going to school. And can you talk a little bit about that experience?
Yes, Brittany, I actually traveled to Indiana to visit my sister before spring break. So I was planning just to staying a week. And then coronavirus pandemic started and the airports were kind of closing and the flights were just closing. So I had to stay there, and we started taking classes at HCC 1 week after that. So I had basically 2 weeks of spring break. And then at work, we decided to come back to work remotely, and we were discussing how we were going to move forward. And classes, they started online. So my face-to-face classes, I had to take them online. And I basically finished my semester over there in Indiana because I couldn't come back. And I just figured I was gonna stay over there and work and study. And I did it. I actually finished my semester and I graduated in digital media. Yes.
That's amazing. Talk about persevering through some tough times. Congratulations, Carolina, on all your hard work. And we're glad that you're back here in Houston, of course, during all of this. It's a very unusual time that we're living in, but I think through your example of continuing your studies, although it's not the way that you wanted to continue your studies, you still achieved your goal of graduating with your degree from HCC. So once again, congratulations.
Thank you, Brittany. Thank you so much.
So one last thing too, before we're going to wrap up this section, I understand that you all are going to have Israel Garza on your show. Is that correct?
No, we had him already.
You had him.
Yeah, for next week, we actually bring a photographer. He's my friend. And we're trying to change, every week bring a different person with a different hobby or a different characteristic. So this time it's going to be a photographer, and he's a really good landscape photographer. He's also a filmmaker. So that's going to be the topic for the week. So we also want to talk about some news that was related to a film. And I don't want to give too much spoilers, but, that's going to be the topic for this week. And we're going to be recording tomorrow and posting on Thursday.
Perfect. And lastly, I'm just kidding about this. Lastly, because you both are international students from Brazil and Colombia, what would be one piece of advice, I'm going to start with you, Carolina, that you would give to our fellow international students who are trying to continue their studies here at HCC during COVID?
Well, I always try to check my emails and everything on a daily basis. Since this crisis started, HCC was having different news, and every day we had an update. So for me, I just traveled to Indiana, but I know that there were a lot of students who had to travel home to their hometown and they couldn't come back. So a piece of advice, just stay in touch with their advisors, because especially us as international students, there are regulations that we have to follow very strictly. But they have been very helpful. So just keep in touch with your advisors and get involved a lot.
Perfect. Caio, I know that you are an alumnus of HCC. You graduated this past December. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's awesome. And again, you're an international student from Brazil. What would be your piece of advice to our international students as well as our domestic students?
So at this point, I would say that I believe that a lot of the students are by themselves here if they didn't return at home. So I know it can be really tough when you don't have anyone to be in company, especially in the quarantine. You can't go anywhere, you need to be locked down at home. But that's why we have technology. So I would advise them to try to be in touch with friends and families from home, and just really realize that they're not by themselves. And I think that talking to friends can help a lot in those moments, and playing video games or trying to find a hobby that can definitely help them. And and HCC too, that's why we did the We Are Here For You video. We have counselors, we have people that are here for help, even though we're doing that virtually. We still here, and I think the students need to know that.
Great words, Caio. Thank you so much for sharing it. Caio de Aragon Cruz and Carolina Linares, thank you so much for both being here with me this morning on Up to the Minute. Your words and your passion, again, are remarkable, and we're so lucky to have you be a part of the HCCTV family.
Thank you for having me.
All right, I'm going to ask you both to stick around because I've got some events and announcements to share with our audience, and I'd love to get your input on this. And Caio, you were talking about for international students to find a hobby, if it's video games. I know a lot of people love video games, but Rec Sports is actually having a virtual fitness class with boot camps and Zumba. Is this something that maybe Caio or Carolina, you'd be interested in participating in?
Oh, I will.
I was about to say that Carolina definitely gonna want that because she likes Zumba and all that stuff.
It's just amazing how a lot of instructors they're just having their instruction through Zoom and Facebook Live and all of these platforms. It's just amazing. I don't have to pay for a gym because you can actually just go into a live section of this. So that's something that I'm gonna look forward to doing.
Perfect, Carolina. We hope that you participate in boot camps and Zumba. It's happening noon on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So it'll be the 23rd and 25th of this week. It's taught by Dwayne Frazier. It's a free sign up. So Caio, I know you say Carolina likes Zumba, but you know what? I'd like to see you participate as well. It's open to current HCC students, faculty, and staff, and you must have your HCCS email in order to register. You can email christian.andrews@hccs.edu with the subject line Virtual Fitness Summer 2020. And Caio, if you're not really into the whole Zumba fitness thing, maybe you'd be interested in sports trivia, which is happening today at 7 p.m. and the registration deadline is noon. You think you got it in you, Caio?
Yeah, I think that would be interesting. I didn't know that, and that's all HCC related, right? Made by HCC?
That is absolutely correct, Caio. Our rec sports and HCC athletics have decided that, you know what, we don't have to be, close to one another in order to do some fun things. So we're going to do virtual stuff. So sports trivia, I am very interested to see how that will go. But again, it's happening tonight at 7 p.m. It's a free sign up, and you can also win prizes. So if that wasn't enticing enough just to compete in sports trivia, you could win some really cool prizes. Again, this is open to all of our HCC family, students, faculty, and staff. You must have your HCCS email to register, and you email joseph.harris@hccs.edu with the subject line June Sports Trivia. We've also got something going on from our MBDA, our virtual subs and sandwiches. So while we can't provide the actual subs, you can probably just grab something to snack on. For the HCC Minority Business Development Association are having another get together with entrepreneurs. It's happening. Actually, this is happening in, I think it's already passed. I'm not sure why this is here. Okay, we're going to skip that. But Caio and Carolina, because you all are very familiar with our safe learning options for the fall registration, you all are familiar about the options, correct?
Yes, we have already watched Caio's video, and actually our first episode on the Student Lounge, we showed the video and we asked our students if they could comment on what was better for them. And we had a small discussion about it with the students.
Perfect. So I'm going to quickly go over what those options are, and I'd like to get your input about which options would be most appealing to you to continue your studies if you were continuing your studies at HCC. So the first option is online anytime. It's your traditional online classes that you never have to come to campus, and you just simply log in at any time that is convenient for you and do your classwork there. The second option is very similar to our online online anytime, but it's actually called online on a schedule. So you select the time that you want to log in for your lecture, but again, you never have to come to campus. The third option is flex campus. So this is either an in-person class or an online. You choose what you like to do. Now, these class sizes are going to be smaller due to social distancing, so early sign up is critical. The last option is for our lab-based courses. If you're interested in the critical hands-on skills-based learning, we're going to continue to offer those. However, we again, are going to be offering smaller class sizes to allow for social distancing. So out of these four options, Caio, I'm going to start with you. Which would be the most appealing for you to continue your studies here at HCC?
So I graduated in filmmaking in December, as we talked, but I'm actually going for photography now. I already started this semester with some photography classes, so I still need to take a few next semester. So here's the thing, some classes require me to be in a studio where we have all the sources that we need, for example, lights, backgrounds, and props and things that we can only get at HCC. So I think I would be willing to do the lab version of it just because, it's really hard to learn those things when you're home and when you don't have, all that. But I still like online classes, just for the fact that I don't need to be, around people. And also I can kind of do whenever I want, and I kind of like to have this flexibility, to not be like, oh, I need to be in class at this time. Plus I save up some gas money, don't drive to campus, so that's a good thing. And I think that all of those options can work well, especially the lab-based one. as long as the students are responsible enough, if they make their own part. We cannot just think that, oh, it's just HCC got to do everything. They put the rules and that. No, that's not how it works. The students, they need to wear masks. They need to use hand sanitizer. They need to keep a safe distance, And I believe that if everybody do a little bit, soon we're going to be out of that. We just literally need everybody to be helping each other. And I think that's the thing that's going to make help for everybody.
Couldn't agree more with you, Caio. Carolina, out of these 4 options, which would be the most appealing options for you to continue your studies?
Oh, I totally agree with Caio, but in my case, I'm finishing a certificate at HCC, and both of my classes are pretty much lecture. So I kind of want to keep it online. So classes online have been working for me. Even last semester that I had classes that I actually needed the lab equipment. We figured out and I could finish those classes, but my 2 last classes are basically lectures, which I can complete online. So I'm fine with the first option because I'm at my own pace, so I don't have to log in at a specific time, so I can keep working. And then I can finish my classes online. So I'm pretty fine with the first one.
Perfect. Well, regardless of what options you choose for fall 2020, be sure to sign up early because classes will fill up, especially for those flex campus courses and lab-based courses. And as Caio said, you students need to just be very diligent and responsible and stay on top of your studies because this is your future we're talking about. So HCC is always here to help virtually. We offer many resources available to all of our students. You can check that out by going to hccs.edu/COVID-19 students. Lastly, before we wrap up, I want to discuss a little bit about these virtual information sessions that are being hosted by our enrollment services. This is happening weekly all the way through August. So if you have questions about your admissions application, testing, new student orientation, financial aid, etc., be sure to register for this virtual info session. You can go today to register by visiting hccs.edu/information-sessions. All right, let's see. One last thing is our jobsnowhouston.org initiative. And HCC has launched a program to retrain and retool Houston's workforce to fill 200,000 of the 1.5 million Houston jobs lost in these various areas of work: healthcare, logistics, manufacturing, IT, and construction. We also have other areas that if you're interested in, be sure to head over to jobsnowhouston.org for more information. Now, I do have to put a little disclaimer on here, everyone. This is not a job hire specifically for HCC. HCC is assisting in fast-track training so that you can find a new career in whatever field it is that we're offering. So if you're interested, once again, head over to jobsnowhouston.org. So tomorrow, Tuesday, we're going to be having Dr. Dalton McWhinney of HCC's horticulture program joining us for the show to discuss it and take our students to the great outdoors. Well, hopefully the weather will clear up by then because I wouldn't want to venture outdoors right now in this weather. What about you guys?
Yeah, but it looks like it's going to be like this for a while. So let's see what happens.
All right. Caio and Carolina, thank you so much for joining me on this morning's Up to the Minute. I really enjoyed speaking with you both about what it is that you're passionate about, your new projects, and to learn a little bit more about what it is that you're doing here at HCC.
Thank you for the invitation, Brittany.
Thanks so much for the opportunity. It was great.
Thank you both once again. And thank you all for joining us on Up to the Minute. Once again, be sure to like us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and head over to our YouTube channel where you can check out some of Caio's and Carolina's work on YouTube with their videos and the Student Lounge. And be sure to tune in Thursdays. Is that correct, Caio, for the Student Lounge?
Yeah, that's correct. We're going to be posting on Thursday. We're also going to be putting on the channel.
Perfect. So again, subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that notification bell so you can be one of the first to find out the latest from HCC. And once again, please be sure to share this podcast so that we can get this information out to the masses and grow our audience. Tomorrow, I'll be joined by my co-host, Frank Cooper, which will always be a good time. So be sure to come back tomorrow morning for Up to the Minute at 10 a.m.